Hello there everyone and welcome back to another week of cooking. This week we're going to be making omurice, which is a type of Japanese food. Now this is a fried rice inside of a nice omelet, so I think it's going to be a great combination because I like fried rice and I also like soft omelet eggs. So I think the two together is going to be really good. This type of dish came in the aftermath of World War II when a lot of Western cooking and ideas about cooking got brought into Japanese cooking. But the Western-inspired food still retains the Japanese flavor. So what we're going to make is a Western-style dish, but it's going to taste like Japanese food. And I'm really excited to make this for everyone because I've never actually made it before. So it's going to be something new I'm bringing to everyone, like a whole lot of other things that we make on this channel. So as for our ingredients, we're going to be using 1/4 of an onion. This is just a spare onion, part of an onion that I had lying around, and I'm going to make use of it. We're going to use 4 slices of this ham, though you can definitely use bacon as a substitute. We're going to be using some sea salt and pepper, though if you don't have sea salt, table salt works fine. You just have to adjust the ratio. I'll talk about that later. We're going to use 4 of these mushrooms here. We're going to use our mixed veggies. We're going to use 4 tablespoons of milk, some tomato paste, some rice, some ketchup, some water, and some rice. So the first thing that we're actually going to do is start putting our rice on. So everyone knows the drill. We've done this a bunch of times on the channel before, but we're going to do it again, and that is make rice. And you can use a rice cooker to do this. My family doesn't own one, so we just make it on the stovetop. But this recipe calls for 2 cups of rice. So what we're going to do is take 1 cup of rice, another cup of rice, and put it all in our pot. Then we'll take a cup of water. And we'll take another cup of water. So put that in with our rice. Typically, for Japanese food, you'd want to use Japanese style rice, which is a type of short grain rice. You can find it I found it in Asian grocery stores. I've also seen it online. But if you don't have access to it, that's okay. You can substitute with any rice that you can get. But I definitely like Japanese short grain rice the best. And what we're going to do here is just put this on high heat for now. We're going to bring the rice and water to a boil. And then once the rice and water comes to a boil, we're going to set it on. We're going to bring it down to a simmer and put a 20-minute timer on. Then we'll actually have our rice made. But for now, we're just going to wait for this to boil. We can put it on maybe a little lower heat for a second. We'll just wait for that to come to a boil. But in the meantime, I'll get us started on the next step. So the first thing we're going to be doing is slicing our mushrooms. Put in a knife and a fork. We'll take our 4 mushrooms and slice them. You just want to cut them into nice slices like, I'll bring my camera closer. Right there, you want to cut them into nice slices like this here. Double check to see if our rice is boiling. Not yet. Soon though. That's our first mushroom cut into slices. You don't need to have them as too small. You just need to have them as nice thin slices. They can be a variable size too. They don't have to be picture perfect mushroom slides. The recipe I'm using comes from just one cookbook, so I'll have the recipe in the description. But that's where I'm getting my actual recipe from. There you go. These are our 4 mushrooms cut. On to our next step, we're going to slice our onion into small pieces as well. My hands for a second. If you want, I'm going to do this. I'm going to rinse the mushrooms off with a damp towel. You just take a damp towel to the mushrooms. Just pat them with water. Normally you do this beforehand, but I'm doing it after. I'm not sure if that should make a difference, but I'm just going to pat it with a damp towel anyway. To double check on our rice now, we're almost at a boil. Not quite yet though. You always want to keep a close eye on the rice. You want to get the rice down to a simmer almost as soon as you see it boil. We're under damp towel. Still recording, which is good. Now we'll cut up our onion. It's about half an onion, so we need half of this half of an onion. I'd say, though I'm going to use all of this because I think that this came from a smaller onion. You don't need to have the onion in particularly small pieces. You just need to have it nice and chopped. I'd say this size, or maybe even just a little smaller, is the best. There we go, that's a good size. I do a double check on my rice. I'll be able in a matter of seconds. So I'll just wait on that for a couple of seconds. Also, today for my fried rice, you're going to be using a wok, though if you don't have a wok, another pan works just fine. So don't worry if you don't have a wok. When it comes to a boil in the middle, which is starting to come to, then we'll immediately turn down to simmer and put a timer on for 20 minutes. That's definitely boiling, so we'll turn that down to a simmer and throw a timer on for 20 minutes. There it goes. In 20 minutes, our rice will be done. We'll just leave that to simmer. And to our next step, we're going to get a tablespoon of canola oil that we have here, and we're going to saute our onion. You can use vegetable or any other neutral flavored oil. We're going to be using the oil to be sauteing our onion. I'll just spread the oil all around my pan. My wok here. Wait for that to get nice and hot. Our oil's starting to get heated, so we'll drop our onions in. Start to saute our onions. Good, we're still recording. I have this right now on like medium-high heat. I'll put it even just a little lower. A little low, right around medium. Do that for a few seconds. Double checking our directions. And while that's sauteing, I'm going to start cutting up my ham. But before I do that, I'll actually just season these onions with salt and pepper. Good right now. I'll open up my bag of mixed vegetables. The recipe just says to use peas, but you can use mixed veggies just fine. I'm gonna open up my ham. Throw these onions around. Bag of ham. Let me get the scissors to open up this bag of ham. There we go. You can substitute bacon for this ham here, but what I'm doing is I'm just going to be cutting this ham into some chunks. There we go. That's some ham juice pulled out. That's okay. Leave that back there for a second. Then I'm just going to start cutting into this ham. You don't really need to do anything fancy to it, you just need to cut into some chunks. So recording. Good. Sorry, I just wanted to double check. try my best to go quickly here. Just ensure our onions. I'm going to turn down the heat on my onions. I did more than sauteing my onions. I probably let them go for a little too long. That's okay. There we go. Now I can start just to cut up these pieces of ham 4 at a time. Almost done with these little pieces of onion, or sorry, not onion, these little pieces of ham. Go. Alrighty. We're all cut up now. So now we're going to put we're going to put this ham in and my mixed veggies and my mushrooms in. There you go. Add our mushrooms. With all of our mixed veggies. And we'll add in all of our ham as well. Heat. Normally the actual directions of this recipe just say to use mixed vegetables. Not mixed vegetables, sorry. Just say to use peas, but I'm going to use mixed vegetables. I believe it should work. I'm actually just going to put an extra tablespoon of oil in because I let my onions go for a little long. background. Now it's starting to smell really good. I'm really glad it's coming out well. Despite our initial little hiccup. Our rice is coming out in 7 minutes. So. I think while this fries, the best thing that's going to be doing is to make our tomato sauce quickly. You might be thinking, oh wait, Chris, are we making a big tomato sauce? We're not actually going to make a big tomato sauce. We're just going to get a small little saucepan, get some tomato paste, some ketchup, and some water, and then we're going to be just fine. All that we're going to need is we need 2 tablespoons of water. We need 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. So the heaping tablespoons will take a little less than next time. So 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. Rinse that out. Then we'll get 3 tablespoons of ketchup. Put that on the back burner. Oh. And I'm going to stir to combine my ketchup, my tomato paste, and my water to make my tomato sauce. That's going to form a small tomato sauce for us to use. Rice comes out in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, so we'll be ready to go and on the rice soon. Alrighty, I'll season this with some salt and pepper. sorry, just give me 1 second. Okay, we're still filming, which is good. I'm sorry, just give me 1 second. I'll be back in just a second.